Say hello. All right, welcome to Upper Body Day. I'm gonna have 4 supersets taking you through all the major muscle groups of the upper body with some core thrown in. Your only materials that you'll need: dumbbells. I've got a pair of 20s and a singular 10. You might have different weights, that's fine, as well as bands. Now I'm only using the bands for 2 of the exercises that are easily modified if you don't have bands, with the dumbbells instead. Enjoy. Of course, you're gonna warm up first. Now, since today is all about the upper body, that is what we're aiming to warm up. Starting with bent reach downs to reach overs. Now I am adding in a little bit of lat engagement on that reach up. You're keeping your core taut, your torso in one long line, and then sweeping the fingertips towards the floor. When you reach up and overhead, squeeze the shoulder blades down back behind you like you're trying to draw your elbows together. You're doing 15 reps of these, followed by alternating push press side to side. I like to imagine that I'm Iron Man here as I rotate side to side, pressing with my palms from side to side, trying to activate a little bit of those chest muscles as you push, 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 push. Yes, we are moving body weight a little bit faster here to get some heart rate, some warmth flowing through our blood. And after 12 to 15 each side, reach up and over, stretch the side body all through the lats, the shoulders, really active through the fingertips. You can get a little more core activation if you think of hinging more from the hips than your waist. A full line of energy with each reach. Again, 12 to 15 per side. You're gonna run this through 3 times total, and then we'll begin. Phew, nice job on that warm up. We're starting on exercise 1 of superset 1, singular arm low row. So this should be the heaviest weight that you have. We'll do 12 to 15 reps per arm. And you can see I'm hinged at the hips. You might have a surface on which to place your free arm for stability, like I have on the chair here. Each row, think of drawing the elbow towards the hip bone and wrap it around the rib cage so you really get that back activation. You're inhaling as you lower the weight towards the floor, exhaling to wrap it up and around. Make sure you keep your torso long and strong. Your chest is faced towards the floor, a soft imaginary apple underneath the chin. Just a couple more reps here. You've got it. So right away after those single arm rows, we're gonna do both arms together in a high row with the bands. So I've put my band around a steady beam in my basement here, as you can see. I'm keeping my core taut. I've split stanced in the legs so that I have a neutral pelvis and a neutral spine. But I'm again squeezing between the shoulder blades, this time flaring the elbows out a little bit instead of keeping them low into the ribs. 12 to 15 total. This shouldn't be as heavy as the dumbbell and the single arm. It should really just burn out from where you were working before. Did you do that superset 2 more times? Because here we are on to superset 2, moving on to our chest muscles. So here I've got my heaviest dumbbells that I have. They're not quite heavy enough to do a strict press for me. They might be for you. So I'm modifying a little bit, keeping my palms facing towards one another, somewhere between a chest press and a chest fly. I am bending the elbows to keep myself safe with the heavy weight and exhaling to push the palms together up and overhead, in line with the sternum. Inhale to lower, exhale to rise. 12 to 15. And the second exercise in this set, I'm doing half get-ups. So here's where a little bit of core work comes in. I've grabbed my lighter dumbbell into one hand, and the hand that has that weight is the leg that I'm going to bend in close. My arm and leg on the left side are long. So with each crunch up, I'm pushing the weight towards the sky, my bicep in line with my ear at the top of my seat as I reach my free arm towards the long set of toes. Inhale to lower with control. Exhale to crunch my way up and push that weight up towards the sky. 12 to 15 per side. And I'll switch and repeat the pattern on the other side. Now the biggest thing here is that you're not flopping down without control to the mat. You are rolling one vertebra at a time. That's going to take a lot of core control to do slowly and not lose that space between the spine and the mat. That exhale is helping you to push up. So once you finish here, repeat the superset, starting with your chest press, chest fly, moving through your half get-ups, and then I will meet you in superset 3. Moving into our smaller upper body muscle groups. So I'm moving back to the band, bicep curls, 12 to 15 total. Now, if you don't have a band, you can always use a lighter set of dumbbells here. I'm standing tall, long, strong spine, core tucked in, using the inhale to lower, the exhale to curl and pull in. Keep your wrists in line with your forearms. No T-Rex wrists is what I like to call when you kind of bend the wrists in. You'll just burn out your forearms that way. And once you finish your 12 to 15, make your way to the ground for Russian twist, side to side. So here we're getting the rotational core. I like to use a weight in hands. You could also do this with no weight. Leaning back, you could lift up your heels if you want to. Make sure, again, that you have control over your spine, that you are not just weaving the hands or the weight side to side, but actually rotating from your core. So you can exhale, squeeze, side to side, 12 to 15 per side total. This should feel like a little bit of a burn, especially if you are keeping a heavy weight in hand. You've made it to the last and final superset. Back to the heaviest weights you can muster for this set in the tricep press. So here, unlike the chest press, you're gonna keep the elbows close into the ribs and keep the heavy weight stacked, wrist over elbows. As you inhale, lower, graze the elbows to the ribs, exhale, press the arms straight overhead. And if you're doing it correctly, it should feel like you really have to extend the arms using those tricep muscles, those little tiny muscles in the backs of the arms to push the weight overhead. You've got it, 12 to 15 total. That's the name of the game today. And after you finished with the heavy set first, we'll move on into the second of the supersets. Place the weights down. You're gonna lift your chest and shoulders and head off of the mat and then squeeze your obliques side to side to tap your heels with your fingertips. And if you can't quite reach, you're reaching for them like you can. Exhales to crunch side to side. You should really be firing up the side core, the sides of the body in this last one. I did 20 each side on this last one. Go to town. It's the last true exercise before we cool down. Just as we warmed up, focused on the upper body, we'll cool down, focused on the upper body, taking a little puppy pose stretch, hips in the air, reach the fingertips forward, let your heart melt towards the floor. You can rest your head on your mat. Just taking deep breaths here, stretching chest and shoulders. And then lift up enough for thread the needle. Slide the right arm underneath the left armpit. Let the shoulder and the temple of the head rest to the earth. And I like to press my palms together here to really activate into the back body, reaching my fingertips away from my shoulder blade for a few breaths. Plant the left palm before you switch sides, lifting up to sweep the left arm underneath, and you'll do the same to the other side. And keep in mind, you can always stay here a little longer than what I'm modeling for you. Take as many as 5 to 10 to 15 breaths if you'd like, if the stretch really feels good in your body. And after being in tabletop for those threading of the needles, you can come to your seat. Inhale, stretch the arms apart, lift through the chest, and exhale, round through the spine as you bring the hands in front of you. Do that a couple times, stretching both the front side and the back side of the body, one breath in and out per. And then I like to take a few side stretches, reaching one arm up and over, then the other, feeling again into that side body through the lats and the shoulders. And then take eagle arms to really target those back muscles between the shoulder blades. A couple breaths per side. If you can't bring your palms to touch, you can grasp opposite shoulders instead. And then finally finish with a couple of breaths, stretching first one side of the neck, then the other. And you can round it all out, chin to chest, breathing into the back of the neck. We tend to overuse the traps sometimes in these upper body workouts, so give some love to that upper back. Nice job.